This is that tower skirt. Then first make its top. The top looks like this. I am making an unprocessed embroidered dragon. If that one is this bun, if it's difficult to sew this type of bag, then you can make this kind of embroidered dragon with rolled edges. Then just sew the side seams together. Now the glue is of a different type. This kind is not available. Then it has a raw edge. It's somewhat challenging and requires hand stitching. This is like the pattern paper. Let me explain. Front section and back section. You can also cut a single piece for the front, then cut 2 pieces for the back. The bottom connects the front and back pieces. Next, this is the sleeve. The sleeves are patterned based on the front. This is the front sleeve pattern. Concerning the front sleeve dragon for the doctor, this is its folded. This is the painted edge of the folded colored hem. This is the thick edge of the hem. Then this is the thick edge of the sleeve. The sleeve edge consists of 2 layers. The narrow layer is the upper layer. The wide one is the lower layer. These are the pieces of material. Then it continues has one distinct feature. Because this is a 6-point flat chested design, there is no chest strap, so the middle part is joined together. Then the 4-point piece and the small fabric are separate because both of them have a chest area. Here there's a twisted chest strap, so they disconnect. Then you piece it together, then handle it again. I shot this in 6 minutes because it just reached 6 minutes. I shot the video in 6 minutes. Actually, it's just about dismantling this one connection. The others are all the same. This one is 4 minutes. At the quarter mark, there's a break here. This one has been cut. Just cut it out after drawing. Sleeve. This marked point is the front. It connects to the front armhole, like this. First, connect the pointed area flat. Then attach the sleeves. I'll lay it out simply first. Then this is its thick edge. This position is at the dip. This is the sleeve, the thick edge of the sleeve, upper layer and lower layer. This side is not visible. That is placed over here, lower layer, upper layer. This is the stitching method. This is the lining. The lining is created by stitching the front and back pieces together. It is stitched together. Now we begin making it. Then we begin by stitching the shoulders. Once the seams are stitched, attach the sleeves. Make sure to remember that this is the front. This sleeve is not the same as the other. It's right in front, a little bit forward. It's the same as the human arm. Move forward. So if you do it upside down, the sleeve will get deformed. This kind of small-sized sleeve is not easy to make, so it might require hand sewing. You can do a mock closure, seal another round with the sealing machine. What I do for sleeves is first seal the midpoint of the sleeve and the pointed seam. This way, they align together. Then fix it in place for a while. This sleeve doesn't have much quality, just a little bit. It's almost done. When stitched together, it nearly disappears. Next, this curve here is the most difficult to deal with. So you need to create a small incision. Avoid cutting too deep. Do not exceed the seam. Then when you do it later, doesn't it become straight at this point? It's easier to sew when you do it. It won't change in that manner. Just sew it like this and it will be done. The embroidery frame at the back is the same. As long as it's a large curved area, all of them can be treated this way. This is the type that doesn't use ceremonial cloth. So don't sew all the way to the end. Just sew up to this point, leave a small amount so that it can. This side seam is sewn with hardwood. Finally, sew the embroidery frame again in the embroidery frame. So I only sewed halfway. I'll finish sewing it first. This embroidery is what I pieced together. It looks like this. These 2 edges are about 1 centimeter apart. It hasn't been sewn together. What I made is in 6 sections. Sew to here. You can secure this in the middle, then align it here, leave a little space, sew to the top, then it's the same here. Leave a bit on both sides because we need to make that type of fabric without frayed edges. The sleeve on this side is the same. Then lift the raw edge of the sleeve below. This is the thing. This is its color film. Below is the rolled edge, roll 0.5, roll 0.5. When I made this back then, I used golden fir edges. You don't need to move this part, so this one is not rolled, and this is divided into 4 parts. Click on this. When making this in 4 sections, this is how to roll the edges. I have already prepared the seams. You can simply roll it up, roll the seams at 0.5. Only the seams of the small fabric are in 4 sections because it's difficult to work with the sleeves, so it was changed to a 4 centimeter seam. The rest are all 5 centimeters. These two I made one earlier. The completed one looks like this. The edge is locked here, then press a line here. This flying edge separates the upper and lower layers. Then roll the edge to 0.5. Then at the joint here, press 2 pulled lines. Pull to the cuff. This is the same length. Then start with this narrow one. Finally, this wide one goes on last. First, orient them all in one direction. Compare them like this. Then you can tie a knot in one section. Then adjust the other section. Compare them like this. Then ensure they are the same length. After it's completed, make another knot in this section. After both ends are secured, then adjust this quality. Leave 0.5 here. It can be without a mark because it has splicing. When splicing, folding it all doesn't look very nice. Leave a little distance, then fold it here. The middle part should be even. Other folds are done the same way as this one. Make them all the same length, then splice them together. Once the splicing is done, then splice the second layer. The second layer should also be adjusted to the same length. Then splice it with this again, like this. It can also be made into a single layer. Then splice the second layer. The second layer should also be adjusted to the same length. Let's stitch this together again, like this. It can also be made as a single layer. If you think the stitching here is too thick, if I do it, will I follow the design draft? Then make it as 2 layers. Then watch carefully while stitching. Don't get it reversed. This is the reverse side. This is the reverse side. Try putting it on and see. This, is it correct after it's finished? Don't make it the wrong way. If it's reversed, it will need to be disassembled. Then these 2 edges of the sleeve. After it's completed, attach the lining. The neckline is stitched together here. This is the lining. Then draw the stitching on the surface. Place the lining underneath. Then sew its collar together like this. After the neckline is stitched here, do not stitch the center back. Leave the center back for last. Just finish this neckline. Then let's work on the lining for the repair dragon. Flip this over. I've made a few notches here. I tried making it earlier. Fold it back like this with a 0.5 seam. Let me draw it. The lining looks like this. Roll the seam back, 0.5. The small piece of fabric is 0.4. All the other stitches are sewn at a 0.5 seam allowance. Because the fabric is indeed too small, make it 2. Leaving too large a seam won't work. Like this, fold it over, attach it to this embroidery, but it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Sew to this point, leave a space here. It is the same length as this one. Leave a position that is the same length as it. The 2 of them need to be stitched together at the end, but the reserved part shouldn't be sewn earlier. Align it this way. There is a center line here, pointed line. Align with the pointed line here. This point, then sew it. Hand stitching is fine. Don't sew this side. Sew to the seam. This shouldn't be exposed. On the front side, don't let the stitches show. Sew like this with a needle. Stop sewing here. This section is set aside. First, fix the end point. However, do not sew onto the surface. Just sew to the seam allowance. This type of spaced fabric, the method I can find is, it is using a hand needle. If you sew into an adjacent seam, it seems that nothing can be done because it's really too small. I didn't sew on this side. I sewed on the seam allowance inside. Even if you turn it to the front, it won't be noticeable. Then pay attention to this part. It needs to be aligned. Otherwise, they will end up different lengths. Then they won't fit together. If you get it right, once this is fixed here, sew directly from this side. This side also needs to be straightened. Find a spot of equal length, reserve a portion, approximately a portion, then sew from here to there. Sew to this point, like I do. You might need to turn around and go back. Sew the other side, right? And here is the collar hole. Do not let the interfacing show on the surface. This is a collar hole. And if you leave too much interfacing, it will show. So when you roll it, you should roll it in as much as possible. You can roll a little more on this side when sewing. This is 1,000 seams. Definitely do not. This seam has many layers, so when you adjust it, it's one layer. Do not sew through. If you sew through, it will be visible on the front. So it is. 1,000 seams, adjust it a little bit. I've sewn to this end point. This is the point marked just now, so I'm not sewing anymore. That's it. The seams on this side are well marked. Turn back and sew this side. Turn back and sew this side. Align here. I've found this point. Start sewing from this point. If you find it troublesome, then it's better to embroider the dragon swirl edge. This one does not leave the frayed edges of the dragon embroidery. It's a bit laborious, but those who are used to it might find it easier. Once you get used to it, it's fine. After sewing it this way, aren't all these disconnected? It hasn't been pieced together yet. Now let's start stitching. This side seam here, is there any embroidered dragon that hasn't been stitched? This embroidery does not belong to the face. Then let's sew up the side seam of the embroidery first. Like this. Leave these areas unstitched. It's just for stitching the side seams. Otherwise, you have put it all together. The side seam has been sewn like this. Concentrate on my seams. First, sew the sleeves. This sleeve's side seam is done. This is the side seam of the front. Then sew the front side seam as well. I hope you don't get confused. Don't get confused. Just remember, this is the side seam of the sleeve, the bottom seam of the sleeve, and this is the side seam. You'll know once it's sewn. Sew here a little. I've finished sewing this side seam. Don't worry about the side seam of the sleeve for now. First, get this done. This way, you can see it right when you pull it open. When pulled together, they form a straight line. And isn't there an opening here? Then properly sew the embroidered dragon. This type of ritual department is quite troublesome. This is a method I find quite useful. Otherwise, nothing you do will be reasonable. Then if you add an embroidered ritual, it might be easier, but the embroidered ritual, inserting such a small size is particularly special. Looks really awkward. So you can only make this kind without embroidered decorations. There's a small part not sealed in the embroidery area. To make that sleeve, the embroidered bottom and side seams can be joined together. There's still a small bit here, not stored away. It hasn't been put away. Taking small steps might be a bit harder. Then the 4 parts, and mine is okay with 6 points placed in the middle. A larger size of 4 points might be easier to work with. Borrowing an extra piece of packaging will prevent it from leaking. Borrowing an extra piece of packaging will prevent it from leaking. Borrowing an extra piece of packaging will prevent it from leaking. Then take a look at the front. You must follow the seam division to work on it. Then the front of the sleeve is finished. Embroidered design. What remains are the inner side seam and the embroidery design. Then you sew the inner part together. Like this. This is the side seam of the inner part. I'll sew this by hand. Let me explain this sewing technique. It's called backstitch. The result is similar to that of gold stitching. It's almost the same. Sew a stitch, then turn back a stitch like this, Then the pointed tip is the same. Then press this again. Seal this empty spot again. Then leave an equal distance again. So when you see it like this, there are no gaps. Each stitch is like one loving another, okay? You can sew here using a sewing machine, but I would like to discuss the method of hand sewing. From the back, it also has no gaps. It means it's continuous. In any case, from the front, it hardly differs from that of a sewing machine. It's also somewhat sturdier. After you have finished this ceremonial cloth, after you have completed this ceremonial cloth, you need to put back the rusted pieces and be a little careful. Don't tear it apart. Then take this ceremonial cloth, this way with the rusty frame and the face, sew them together facing each other. With this part here, the position reserved earlier, it's the position that was disconnected, connect them together. It looks troublesome. Actually, it's quite simple. It's just too small. You need to use a hand needle and then sew slowly. Then there's no need to cut the seam here. Just align the seams flat together, but do not go beyond this line. The previous thread used for sewing, do not exceed this line. If you go beyond, it will be visible on the front. This method is suitable for those without an overlocking agent. If there is edge sealer, the type that directly rolls and locks the edge in the embroidery hoop, the method is quite useful. Then I turned it over to take a look. It's done like this. This is the one I sewed before. Not secured well. Not secured well. Then it came apart with a tug. I will secure it again with a hand needle. This is how it looks when the seam is finished. The hand looks a little unattractive. The hand stitching isn't that great. If the hand stitching is done well, it can be somewhat concealed. Then it won't be as noticeable. But at least it didn't miss that fur braid. This method is still very practical. Once it's done, flip it to the front to check it out. If you look at it this way, you won't see the fur texture of the embroidery frame. Then the sleeve on the other side is made in the same way. It's a bit too big here. Pull it back a little. After this part is done, worried that it will only run outside, the large blue piece that doesn't stay inside can be pressed with a visible line like this. It won't run outside. Then the sleeve on this side describes another method. Try both methods. This one has no frayed edges. Another option is the rolled hem, because there are some variations. If you're making this for the first time, it hasn't made another type of fabric. This involves tapering the sleeves of the fabric. Then, using an overlock machine, you won't have to worry about it unraveling here. Here you can just roll the hem and press a visible line. Choose one method when you make it. Be careful not to use two methods for one piece of clothing. The outcome differs when it's made. Then this part is completed. It's rolled up. After this part is rolled up, tuck the side seams away. After sewing the side seams here, separate them. Then this part is the sleeve. The sleeve is also like that. You can sew it together here, the area of the sleeve, and the side seam of the face, sew it together like this. This is what I have sewn. In the show, the doctor's ceremonial cloth is ready. And here is the side seam. It's the doctor's ceremonial cloth. The side seam is sewn well. This side is the bottom seam of the sleeve, and the base of the facial doctor is well sealed too. This place was also reserved before. You can also choose not to reserve it. But that type at the back, you simply can't use this approach. I just realized that this can also be done. You should put it, this seam from earlier, just fill in what was missed. After it's filled in, there won't be any leaks here. Then, after bringing the lining over, it's rolled up this way. What we are doing now is this kind of edge. The embroidery hoop ignores it. Then do it like this. Once flipped over, it's not very visible. Then if you want to hide it, if you want to hide this edge, this is the tip. Let it turn over this seam. This is also the pointed end, where the curve is large. It can rest on top of this. Then you take this embroidery hoop, the lining's embroidery frame, align it this way. Align the pointed seams together like this. Then you can still stitch a circle with a hand needle. If you don't want to deal with it, so you don't need to leave any allowance when sewing the embroidery frame. You can simply sew it on directly. This type of knife sleeve, it's because you've sewn it from the back. So it can be flipped over. If you sew it directly from the side seam, this part will end up damaged as well. You won't be able to fix it. Then stitch around with a hand needle. It's the same as the method taught earlier. It can also ensure that the gap doesn't get missed. The seam on this side. The embroidery hoop on this side is also ready. It's sewn somewhat roughly. Then it looks nicer when sewn. You can sew it more delicately. Then turn this over. The embroidery hoop is also ready. The last one is the edge of the lung. After it turns to the front side, this phosphorus piece is very round, and then it can't fit. This is how it looks. So it needs to have a shoulder seam. In places with such large curves, almost all need a shoulder seam. Or you can narrow the seam edge, but it can easily come apart. You can do it however you want. As long as it can be laid flat, don't hit the top. Leave a little distance. This way, the phosphorus can be laid flat. Find a key point here, then don't use it for now. First, take that part. There is a boundary behind the top of the moved collection. Here, this area also has rolled edges. Then you can piece it together. It's the same method as embroidery. This method for the lung edge. No size is specified. It's just making a paper pattern. That paper pattern is folded in half. Cut it while folded in half. Then, since you have that paper pattern, you're just comparing it on top. Although this is the case, it is a paper pattern, place it on top, then press it down to mark this width. Once marked, you can simply tear it off. After tearing it off, measure another, the desired length. Compare it with the pattern. Then make a comparison. Then you can simply cut it out, tear it by hand. Then drawing is also an option. Its length is twice that length, a little smaller. It is the same as this ripped base. It's the same length. When folded, it is the same length. I left it a little smaller, according to your own preference. Decide how much to leave when folding, but don't exceed double. It's too big and doesn't look good. And then this, I left a border. Roll a 0.5 border, and then press a border. And then press a border. This, it's just the border from earlier. Here's a roll of 0.5. It's the same method as chauffé. 2 edges have been pressed here. Then once it's ready, you can crush this part here. You can tie one section, then adjust the other section. Length. Tie this section. All right, do you think you need to place it below? If this goes underneath, you can tie a knot from this end. You sew like this when stitching, then adjust the length on this side. Let's compare it this way. Align this side, then find it here. Don't worry about the folding amount for now. First, ensure they are of equal length. Insert just right, then fix it here first. Tie a knot. Don't make it too short. You can leave it a bit longer, but don't leave it short. If it's too short, then everything has to be taken apart and it has to be pulled out again. It could be just right. Or you can leave it out, make it a little longer. You can tie a type of knot. Then if it happens to be short like this, you can loosen this knot again, pull it a bit longer, then secure it here, then adjust this aspect. Also leave some small gaps, there are no folds there. Then take a look over here. Make the quality more even, the results will be better. You can set it aside once it's finished. I usually place this fold at the bottom, then just stitch it together. After stitching this edge, work on the lining. This here is the base of the lining. Roll it back 0.5. This seam is split, so separate it, because this way it won't be too thick. Roll it back 0.5. You know that pressing it with your hand will leave an impression. Or you can change to another seam. Then after it reaches the end here, turn it over and sew the inside of the pot first. You must roll it over. Fold it in half and align it here. Fold this seam in half. Fold this flat seam. Then sew it. Okay, it's done here. It means to first fold it back 0.5. This side too. Both thick pieces are handled this way. After sewing it this way, turn it to the front. This 0.5 must be folded. It will be clear tomorrow. Then this corner is folded like this. Now let's work on the lower half of the lining. This is pre-rolled. Fold back along this mark. Sew a line here. It's easier to sew from this side. Start folding from this. Cover this seam. Then press a visible line. Press from the front, based on the pressure of the flour mixture. It needs to demonstrate that its level is inadequate. So make sure you don't let it leak. You can keep it a little longer. This seam should be rolled a bit less. Typically, rolling it to 0.5 is acceptable. Then the seams need to be properly aligned. Keep an eye on it with your hands while rolling. Ensure it doesn't leak. Just sew it this way. This has been pressed well. When pressing, don't let this wire be pushed outside. You can see it like this from the front. While working, watch the bottom closely. Don't let it leak. Then, once it has been pressed well, if it's light, only the middle part remains. Fold it in half, find a midpoint. If it's a small seam and a 1/4 inch, then there's no need. There is a seam in the middle of it, and here, make 3 folds. Sew it with a hand needle. You can fold a few, as long as you achieve the desired effect. I folded 2, and that's enough. Then sew it to fix it in place. Then sew another pillar. It's still the inner fire. Okay, okay? Okay, of course. Okay. All this way, I sewed 3 beads. This top is done. You can sew 2 snaps here. Isn't this top too short? So it's more appropriate to use snap buttons. Then use a heat press to connect a bunch. This top is finished. It's a little long, but for filming this, so it just took a bit more time. Thank you for watching. Part of the skirt, a skirt. Underneath the bodice is a 3-layer dress, like this. Here there are also 2 layers. Let's take a look at the quality. This is the bottom of the skirt, upper layer and lower layer. Then I want to mention this. It is this straight line. Then according to, because it is impossible to achieve such long length. So you can use this width, put this, just compare it on the fabric. This one is placed vertically like this. Place it like this according to this pattern. Then this is its width. Once this is drawn, you can just tear it off. This cutting is vertical like this of the bottom surface. It follows this cutting. Don't make it too reversed. Place it like this and then tear it. 3 strips of material. In total, there are 3. Is it a white skirt? The first layer is narrow. The narrowest is the first layer. It is written above. Then this is the second and third layers. They are the same length, the same width. So that means it is not 3 qualities, it is 2 qualities. First, make the skirt white, because the bra is somewhat complicated. Choose a simpler one to make. Once it is completed, then attach it to this bra. This is what I had cut out previously. Do not get these two mixed up. This small piece here is for attaching to the waist. This is the first layer. The second layer and the third layer are exactly the same, disassembled 3 layers. Then do this part. First, do the skirt. First, the white part of the skirt branches. It means sewing it with this lace or using a broken strap. Find a 0.5 seam, then flip it over and press the bright line. This is how it's done. I made it with white thread. It's like this. Place it underneath, put this lace or ribbon here. Press the 0.5 bright line. When you flip it over to this side, although this is white thread, but once you flip it over here, we press a 0.1 bright line. Press it on this white line, on the white cloth, so it can't be seen. Just use the white line. Then press another one to fix it. After this is done, the other 2, the same method as this one. It's all stitched together, then flip it over, flip it over. Press a marked line like this one, and this one. They are all the same, these 3. After the thick borders are done, then press it on this base. This is the second layer, first layer. First do this. Make sure to pull out the good crumples. Let's first talk about how it connects. This connects to the top. Then this is the bottom of the second layer. Then this connects here. Put the splicing here. The third one falls on this bottom edge. Then let's start with the first layer. Let's do this first. After properly gathering the crushed pleats, sew it together with this waist opening here. You can start by finding the end point. This method will produce a more uniform result. It should be easy to locate while working. Make it easier to find. This was marked when cutting the points earlier. Find the end line at the bottom. Then we also need to find a terminal line on the fat edge. You can first secure both of them. Then pull on both sides, keep it steady. Then pull on both sides. Okay, like this. This way, both sides are being pulled. Then isn't the middle secured? It's like pulling from the middle outwards to both sides. Make sure they're the same length. Then adjust it accordingly. You can make a knot. It will be secured. It won't budge. this part is the same. First, determine the correct length. Then adjust the overall measurement. All thick edges are made this way. Then tie it to secure. Try to fix it again. It will be a bit easier to manage. Apply the same method to the other thick edges. This is the initial layer. It is assembled like this. It consists of two parts facing each other like this. It's not that type, not in this way. Then the second layer. The second layer it means they are stuck together. Why shouldn't I connect? Probably take a look at the back. The back looks like this, and the front looks like this. Then when we reach the second layer, don't squeeze it in the middle. So let's start with this one. I've already secured the middle part. It's done the same way, crushed just like the first layer. This is the second layer. This is the second layer. The second layer is joined to it, and only this one is merged with it. Then move on to the third layer. For the third layer, you can start with this and splice it with the second layer here. You can first connect the thick edge. Let's set this aside for now. Then let's connect this thick edge first with the second layer at the bottom of the skirt. Connect them together here. It's the same method as above. This is the third layer, once the fat edge at the bottom is stitched together. Next, this is the third layer. This is the third layer. Once the fat edge below is stitched together, we can start by putting this and stitch it to the second layer here. We can start by putting this and stitch it to the second layer here. We can start by putting this and stitch it to the second layer here. You can first join the wide edge. We'll put this aside for now. Next, we'll connect this wide edge along with the second layer of the skirt hem at the bottom of the skirt. Join them together here. The method is the same as the one above. After the lower edge of this wide edge is stitched together, then connect this, flip it over like this. This is the bottom edge of its second layer. Then sew it together with this. Align the center lines. Make sure to mark this well when cutting. I have marks on all the straight patterns. You can sew from the middle to both sides. This is the third layer. This way, connect each layer properly. You should be able to see it clearly, right? You can understand it, right? Then you can press a line here. This way, you can press a line here. Then press a line on this second layer too. This way, it might fit more snugly. Once it's finished, it will be A-white. Then after this one below is completed, just set it aside for now. Make the top part, it's right here. What I have here is a cut bag. Because it is originally from a design draft, you can see it as a flying edge. Because this is too small, there is no way to extract that fold. So I just placed one of these. You can choose based on what you have. Just use whatever you have on hand. Then, if I make 6 copies, I will make it the type that has a flying edge. This set of 4 is identical to the design draft. This is a broken seam. This is a broken seam, right? Then I pinch this side with a tucked layer. This is also after it has been tucked, secured on top with a hand needle. Then this in the middle is a ribbon. I just directly pinched it into this seam. This bra has a bit too many pieces. This is its quality. Front piece, then there's the front center. It's just the first one, the second one, the first 3, the first 4. The front section occupies a total of 4 sections, including this middle one. Based on this sequence number, you can make a note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After arranging it this way, you can proceed to assemble it. You won't get it wrong. This is its front, and this is its inside. Why create 2 sets? It could originally be made with different designs, but the inside needs a seam extension of 0.5 to ensure the waist seams are offset. Otherwise, it will appear bulky at the waist. And what about here? In fact, the 2 of them. The difference here is that it was initially merged into. When they are together, it looks like this. However, to achieve that shape, to secure this seam tape. Therefore, it must be disconnected here. Next, regarding the inner part, it is then merged together. Thus, 2 sets of boards were created. Then this inner part is also useful. If you want to create a strapless top, sew this. Shorten the waist tie by 0.5. Then its waist tie won't be too long. You can create a strap like this, then pair it with a denim jacket. It's another style. It's a different design. Now let's go over that again. Additionally, it will only turn out well if it's drawn correctly. First, seal one side. Then I'll cut another one to prevent errors. It's specifically about this waist. It has a very close fit when you're creating it. If you accidentally reverse any piece, it will definitely come out looking different. Then begin with the inner part of the face and the back seat. It's always about completing the parts that are ready first. It's uncommon to depend on what comes next. I didn't label the quality of the inner section, which one is the front or back side. I simply labeled them with numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then when you work, follow this to right. You just need to put it together. This is the area I've outlined. You can start by cutting one side. First, let's handle the middle of this side. First, sew this side properly. Then, assemble this side. Make sure to write the numbers correctly. Then assemble based on these numbers. You won't make mistakes. Let's start by cutting this side, the ones for the back height. After we've cut this side, then proceed in this order. You can just piece it together. The inner part is pieced together well like this. Then you can start working on the facial part below. You can curl this part or you can flatten the rice noodles. This is the part of the upper garment. Cut many colorful pieces. This part in the middle, don't touch it for now. Once you've finished painting, place it here. Then the other colored pieces will be arranged correctly. This way it won't become disordered. First, sew one side to match the inside. Sew this side after finishing the other. This is how the front appears. It requires, if it is properly cut afterward, then sew this part. It will surely become distorted, so it will be on this fabric. Before cutting, sew the ribbon onto this, just sew a line. After all these ribbons are sewn, then cut it out after the ribbon in front is sewn. Then you can follow this outline, trim it down. If this keeps moving, if you really can't manage it, just stick it thinner interlining at the bottom paper lining. It will take shape. It won't lose its shape after all these are done. You can start joining them together. According to this sequence number, joint them one by one. This is the front piece of the face. The upper part of the face, I have completed this part. So if we take pictures now, let's shoot the other side. This edge is inserted. I used an edge made of chicken feathers. Then I slightly trimmed its width. The finished product is approximately 0.3. It's about 0.4. Then you can assemble them one by one. Then I will take care of the edge here. How is the length of this border determined? In other words, I usually use double its length, or slightly less than double. Then I pull it out to check the effect. What kind do you want? Trim off the excess? Is this 6 units? The 4 units might not need trimming. For a 6-minute discussion, if you want it to be a bit narrower, just cut off the edges and that will work. Then sew 2 lines of thread. This edge is well stitched, sew 2 lines, then gather the pleats. Once you've gathered the pleats, you can stitch this together. If you find this too small, then you don't need to trim. This chicken feather edge is 1 centimeter wide. The edge of this drawing is secured well. This side is secured well. Once this side is sewn, then sew this piece. Once this is secured well, sew the remaining pieces together. Once this is pieced together, sew the remaining pieces together. It is this piece. It's this piece. This is stitched together. When this is stitched well, draw this seam. It's a bit deeper than this. This needs to be opened a bit deeper. Otherwise, the effect won't come out. When drawing that mirror line, you can trim it down, then draw according to this mirror line. Draw on this. This means to cut it down after that. Don't cut all the way to the end. The stitch at the top should be left. Only cut the middle part. Cut out a gap. Then you can proceed if you can't find it. If you're unsure, you can draw a middle line or before cutting. Before sewing, just draw it on. This is the center line. This way is a bit more accurate. Then it should align smoothly. Make these 2 sides sharp. The defined shapes on these 2 sides, you can draw it on top of this. This is a stitch when sewing. Here is a horizontal stitch. Otherwise, it won't cut during trimming. Then turn it over. It can't be turned over. Oh, this is drawn on the reverse side. I wondered why it was so blurry. Draw on the back side of the face. If drawn on the inside, this can easily get misaligned. So when stitching, you stitch while looking at the front. It should be right in the middle. Stitch from the back side. If you see it from the back side, it will be crooked. Then to the front. This has been deformed. So just take a look. This side, sew it this way. Just sew it down this way. Oh, by the way, there's also a border to draw. A border has been sewn here. You can do this on it. Once it's all put together, put the edging on the outside. Sewing it on is fine too. It can also be clamped inside like this, then clamp it inside. It will be done now. You can use this type, silk ribbon. You can also use that kind of edging. I'll just use this ribbon. It's just that this silk one, sewn with a sewing machine, seems a bit difficult. If I use this, I would sew by hand. And if I feel the kind of pleated edge, if it's troublesome, if there's something like this, it can also be used. I just have that kind of small edge in my hand. You can also dab it like this. If I were to do it, I will follow that, the notification from that design draft group at that time. So I am making it folded. This line. Here at the seam, I put one of the gathered edge. I used seam tape. I tied knots at both ends, then secured it, and that's all. Create gathers. After gathering it well, adjust its length, then create the pleats, sew them evenly on top. This part is attached here. There should be a small gap, about 0.5 units. There is no such thing. Amount of fold. Let's sew it on first. I secured it here with a hand needle. There is no quality here. So when stitching away from the area, it won't be too thick here. If the pleats are aligned there after flipping over, then it will bulge up. It's just a bag. Looks good. Then you make it even. Sew it on top with a hand needle. The length is still the same. It's this one. Twice the length of the body, like this. After sealing it, then go with this part, splicing down. This sewed 2 lines. My 6mm one is 1 centimeter wide. 4 millimeters can also be used. Then according to Xiaobu, you can make it a bit narrower. According to Xiaobu, this ribbon is also fine. I bought this ribbon from 1688. Then it's 7 millimeters. This is 7 millimeters wide. You can use this edge of the small cloth. Then 1/6 is 1 millimeter. 1/4 can also use this. The creases have been made. It's the same as this. Just sew along this edge. This fold. After the creasing is done, also leave a smaller amount here. There is no folding. Make it flat. Then connect it here. Secure it with a hand sewing needle. Then sew it gradually with the hand needle. Do not sew all the way through. Just sew it this way. Open this up. Just sew on this surface. I have sewn this lace well. Next, you can attach the skirt panel. You can also sew it completely. Actually, it means sewing up to a certain point. When you get to this point, do not sew through because it will need to be turned over at the end. This is how you sew it together. It's just that I'm afraid of sewing them together. You still need to unpick it, that seam. If we sew this together, it will work. You can only sew up to here. You need to leave a small piece. Attach that completely white one. First, attach the facial part. Then attach the collar part. Also, find a final facial piece. This was already marked during the cutting process. Since the pattern has marked points, just tap on them. Then sew from the middle to the top on both sides. The branch is also a smaller branch. It indicates the length and width on the branch. It's just that once the frills are pulled out, you can borrow a piece from this nose design, then bring it over and sew it together with a thick seam. This stitching is becoming a bit of a hassle. You can take it apart a little, then do it like this to reduce it to 0.5. Sew it up a little, just take it apart a little to finish. Seal this part here, sew it thickly like this, then flip it to the front. I just turned it over. This corner should be flipped out. Then this edge fits right inside this thick seam. Then take it out thoroughly. After turning it over to the front, then press a clear line on the rear attachment. Fasten it securely to avoid it shifting. This one. The final step is to attach the Velcro. This side has the hook part, this is the loop side. Then align these two and find a reference point here. The heights on both sides are the same. Then place the Velcro on. Trace a little bit out. Excess material can be cut off. Then stick them together like this. Sew from this point. This point is probably where the coccyx is. You can measure it, then make a mark. Sew from this point. After finishing this seam, make a few stitches here. This way it won't break when pulled apart. This piece of clothing will tear.